I was trying to get audio to play. Yes, it's working. ET, it's working! You can hear me and there's not noise. Okay, sorry about that. And we're back, and if the audio is too loud, just let me know, but now it should sound nice and clean without any static. Alright, let's get to work. So today we have the 1050 Ti Brickless build. I've not really done a lot of pre-baking, so this is going to be live for your enjoyment as I mess things up and troubleshoot with you guys. But I figure it's a lot easier if I have, you know, people helping me say, no, unplug it and turn it back on again. 3 times. Always gotta do it 3 times. So, with that out of the way, we even have a nice little checklist. EVGA 1050 Ti 4GB. We're gonna put this away because we're gonna test it first. NHL9i cooler, which I keep over here. Where is it? I might actually have one over here today. Yeah. Asus Z370i Strix. So far, so good. And what else? Corsair Vengeance memory, 32GB. I know this is the only 8700 I have, so that's what's going in there because I can't imagine anything else doing it. Yep. The power supply. Oh, the M.2 drive. And my power supply stuff, which I haven't exactly pre-baked, but I sort of have pre-baked. I knew I was going to have to do this, so while the parts were in order, I dyed my cables black. I changed the output connector to be a little bit shorter on my HDPlex 160 or the Dynamo Mini 200. These are pretty much the same unit. And I dyed my C8 connector black as well. This is a shorter C8 connector like I sell on my website. We're going to do the C8 connector for the 160 build. I think that it's perfectly safe. I've done many of them now, so you could use really any AC input jack that you wanted to, as long as it fits, but this is what I'm using today. I do have some 12 min. Let me show you those. Those just came in the mail, because they would work too. I gotta find where I put them. Finding them may be tricky. But anyway, what I just came in the mail were more of these aviation connectors, but they're the GX12s, which is the millimeter size, and also the size of the DC aperture jack. So you could just actually install one of these without having to drill inside your chassis. And I ordered 3-prong ones, so you could add a ground if you wanted to. Hey Craig, how's it going, man? I'm gonna blow up the chat, guys, so I can actually see you guys. I could drop the bit rate and see if that helps, but I don't know if it's a sync issue or not. Yeah, I think it's probably a bit rate issue. Alright, we'll see how it works. It could just be a connection issue, I'm not quite sure. But we'll get back to building. I can't really do too much about it except answer chats and build a computer. I also got to get a monitor a little bit closer so I can actually read and get some glasses. I'll do that first. Whew, okay. Sorry about the slow start, guys, and I'm a little bit nervous following yesterday, but I think we'll move into the swing of things pretty easily. I don't actually know if any of you all are still there after I changed the bitrate settings, but I will continue because it doesn't look like it dropped off. In the Z370i box, you get a ton of swag. A ton of it. And some zip ties. Ooh, I should add these to my collection. I'm going to put this stuff back in the box because I'm going to use it as a test bench in a second. You get the manual, which is very helpful when plugging in headers and that kind of thing and troubleshooting. You get a giant sheet of holographic stickers, which are littering the back of my workbench at this point. Eventually, it's going to cause some nice insulation. You get a Cable Mod coupon for 20% off your Cable Mod purchases. I have a stack of these too, and if you guys actually are looking at purchasing cables from Cable Mods, you can let me know, because I have a billion of them. But you should probably email me for a code. The driver CD, Asus's Easy header, which just makes more cables in the case, the weird Pyramid Head Wi-Fi tribute connector, which is just weird and awkward. I'll keep that in case the customer wants it. RGB sync cable, these little guys, which are important. Now, on the Intel version, the Z370i, you actually have to install the M.2 standoffs. On the AMD version, you don't. They're already included and thread locked, which is really nice. But I do see people when they're building minis forget to put these in, and it makes their SSD like slanty, which could work. I mean, it's still gonna work, but just remember to put these in before you put your drive in there. SATA cables, which we do not need, which makes me so happy because we have the M.2 drive, so that goes in the trash can. We have this cute little wrench. And I don't actually know what this wrench is for. I'm assuming that it goes to the standoffs. If you guys want to let me know what this little cute wrench is for, I don't know. I have a bunch of them, but it doesn't have a little extra screw, so I put this in my extra screws box, which matches the M.2 hold down. Oh, look, there's two of them. I wonder if it's a spacer and a wrench for a special drive. That's what this thing is. It's if you use a shorter, now extinct drive, you use as a spacer. That's smart. I don't need that though. And Asus's CPU installation tool, which I have used once to see like why do we need this? Why do we need this? We don't need this. It makes it actually more complicated. But they do give you one. I'm gonna throw this away in the recycling because it's all plastic. SATA cables. This is going away. Put these off the side. Throw this away. All right, let's begin my test bench. First things first, we're gonna need our CPU. This is the Intel i7-8700. Now here's a question Here's a question. Do you guys break the factory seal sticker when you open your GPUs and your CPUs? Or do you like break the product info sticker? I haven't really figured out which one I like to do, but it's gotta be a ritual. I'm gonna go today with the factory sealed sticker, but... Oh, a key, I do collect standoffs and screws. This right here is one of those tool chests, those big... It's just screws and camera gear. The product info, and then reglue. We started off, Voodoo Child, thank you very much for that $5. I appreciate it. Got our CPU out, got our cooler out, which I can put back in here, I think. I do a quick test, but I'm not gonna do a quick test with it. I'm gonna use the Noctua since it's really easy to install. I'll save my sticker for a post. I reward myself by sticking my Intel stickers on the side of that tool chest whenever I get a post. Put that down. I keep my boxes for a little bit just in case there's any problem, of course, especially during burn-in. Please use the stock cooler. No. No. Behold, the NHL9i. I am a fanboy. I'm a Noctua fanboy. But just look at this packaging. Just look at this package. It is beautiful. Thick neoprene, which I do save and cut up for spacers and standoffs. Use it in my motorcycle, my Jeep, even computers when shipping. It's just presentation. It has a really light, faint smell. Sort of like a Davidoff cigar, you know? It's not trying to be overpowering or anything. It's not trying to be in your face with those aroma. It's just subtle. It's subtle and classy. Everything about Noctua is subtle and classy. Like the coffee and cream color style, or the leather and hazelnut color style, as I like to think of it. A badge, which I will use when I get a post to reward myself. The resistor, which I put in my big bucket of resistors, which I throw out at from time to time, but my 4 screws that are perfectly machined for mounting this cooler. How's the acoustics on my typical builds? This build right here is silent. It's silent. It's great. The 1050 Ti, really quiet. The NHL9i, of course, this is... People can tell you how silent this cooler is, especially with this 8700. I mean, it's beautiful. And my Sky Slots, trademark, allow for a lot of exhaust, so you don't have to ramp up those fans to keep things cool. A new tube of NTH1. Yeah, Chromax range, you know, is the black fans with the little color swappable ends, but you know what? I'm just gonna keep it real with the coffee and cream combo. It's like an exotic supercar, you know, on the outside, that's what your case is, whatever color that is, you know, maybe a billet steel or a beautiful Ferrari red, but on the inside, this is what your car looks like. Something that I've really noticed about Intel versus AMD CPUs, like AMD, it's like their trademark touch. Whenever I buy an AMD CPU, there's always like a fingerprint on the die. It's like, you know, they're putting it in, they got a smudge on it, which at first made me like worry, like, isn't this a clean operating environment that you're in? But then later on, I came to realize that, you know, I know for a fact that they tested it and they hand-picked it and put it back in the box, so I'm not so torn up about it anymore. But I've never seen fingerprints on Intel CPUs. Maybe that's where all the money that you pay extra for them goes, using some alcohol and wiping off the top of the heat spreader. AMD is better. Will I ever do powder coats again? I will do powder coats again, but I need to have the equipment and the space to do it. And that's just not on the radar right now. I love powder coating, but not on the radar at the moment. Not taking any jobs for that either. And as I explained yesterday, I had friends that were professional powder coaters, and they were really good at their job, true artists, but then they quit to go do painting for NASA at Stennis, and now the guys that are working there, they're good guys and everything, I'm friends with them, but they're more focused on industrial stuff, so my stuff never gets done. So like I said, I have like 20 S4 Mini Classics there that have been there for 2 years now that I'd really like to get back because, you know, people want them, and, you know, I want them. It's thousands of dollars of inventory that I can't really afford just to have hanging out in La La Land. This is an i7 8700. That's what this is. Uh-oh, already we have potential flat earthers and AMD evangelists. As long as we keep it civil, guys. I know. Okay, so for mounting the NHL9i, there is only one direction that you can put on this motherboard. It would appear that there's 4, because it's a square. It's not really a square, it's a rectangle. And yes, I know that a square is a rectangle, or a rectangle is a square. I don't really actually know. I don't know very much. But there's one way that this cooler can actually fit on this board because of all the heat sinks. So we take this little guy, and we know that we don't want the exhaust dumping into the memory. So we're not going to face it this way or this way. That eliminates 2 choices. And this way, if we line it up and set it down, this is how it's... No, sorry. This seems to interfere with the heat spreader over the primary SSD slot for the M.2. This does not. So it's wider in one direction than the other. So this is the only way that this cooler will mount on this board. And I see people buy this cooler and this board, very popular combo, and they'll install it backwards, and then they'll bend the fins on their cooler, smushing it down, and they'll complain about bad temps because it's not really making a good seat. So just be aware of that when doing it yourself. I love this precision mounting system too, so you don't bend your CPU die trying to get the right torque. This will bottom out on the screws before it bottoms out your wafer into the LGA socket. You can use a 120mm fan with the NHL9i in the Mini, and I include a bracket for it. Well, actually I don't. If you use a really thin fan, like maybe 11mm fan, which doesn't exist. And the problem is too that you wouldn't really have enough pressure, stack pressure, to penetrate the fins really well, so it would just perform rather poorly. I do see people use fans on top of the NHL9i. I don't really know which ones they are, but I know that they can't perform well because they're oversized. The hub is covering the entire heat sink. It's not going to work well. This is the best fan. I mean, I've done a lot of testing, and this is the best fan. If you can find a better fan and prove it to me, that'd be awesome. Reven, this is what people are asking about. They actually sent me this cooler today because they think that they built a better cooler than the NHL9i. So I'm going to test it. I'll test it. I'll test it if they send it to me. So the problem is now we have this ugly wire flopping around, but we can just move the fan. No big deal. How about the Copper C7? Good cooler, but it does not fit in the Mini, and the fan is a little bit louder than the NHL9i's NF-A14. Is it the NF-A14? The yellow cooler's name is the Reven RC0801B Vanexi compatibility. LGA 775, that's good, that's really good. 1150, 1151, all the Intel. And then goes up to AM3 for AMD. Or if you want to mod it yourself with an extra hole off to the side a little bit, it'll work for AM4. This is a really cute cooler. It's a really cute cooler, but it's not the right application. Not the right application. Really tiny. That's like super SFF. That's like super SFF. Okay, where was I? I was moving this around. Yes, it is tiny in comparison. It weighs a lot less too. Yeah, the Zalman CNPS 2X, great cooler. That's my second favorite cooler, the 1U cooler for it. But the NHLNI is just better. It's just better. So there's no reason to use the Zalman for the Mini. I do use the Zalman all the time from other custom builds where I want something that's 1U, really, really flat. And I do like the Zalman too because this cooler right here, it just dumps heat in two directions, and there's heat sinks and stuff in the way, so that's not very effective. Whereas the Zalman has that bloomin' onion design where it can get rid of all the air really easily. So even though it weighs much, much less and uses much less copper, it's extremely efficient. I wish Zalman would make a bigger version of that because I know that it would just kill. They did back in the day, but I mean like a bigger ITX version. Good night, Bruno. Sleep well. I'm really excited for Intel's GPUs. I'm really excited for them. Really excited. I don't know if they're going to be good or not, but more competition is a good thing, and I want Big Blue to come up with some interesting, innovative stuff. And I figure that if they're actually working really, really, really hard on making dedicated graphics cards, that maybe some of that will trickle down into the GPUs, the on-die. Yeah, I think, John, I didn't know if you reviewed that particular cooler, but I did read that you reviewed one of Reven's products. But my job is to find an application where that's going to make the most sense. Even if it's going to be hard. All right, the second thing I like to do with this is I remove this heatsink right here. It's pretty much useless. It may be okay if you use like a tower cooler on a mini ITX motherboard, but right now it just blocks the exhaust on the NHLNI, and my customer is not going to be doing any major overclocking, and these VREGs can withstand ridiculous temperatures anyway, so this little heatsink is getting the cut. And I'll add them to my big box of discarded Asus heatsink parts. Which are somewhere. I don't know. All right, so for the M.2, I actually put it on the bottom first for two reasons. One, I think that the Mini might cover this slot. So you'd have to take the motherboard out to put this in, and if the customer wants to add another SSD, I want it to be easy for them. And two, even if you were doing it, I wouldn't use this gimmicky little heatsink thing that Asus makes. It's a really dumb design. If you go to their website, they make a big deal about how it's this insulated tier system to where it doubles as the Northbridge and the SSD cooler, but at the same time being separate. It's not. It makes contact. So any heat that your Northbridge makes is going to go right into your drive, which these things are meant to run hot, but that might be pushing it a little bit, especially when the exhaust is blowing right over it from the CPU. So I put mine on the back. putting in a 40mm as a top exhaust? Like when you say... Yes, it is NVMe. This is my favorite NVMe drive. This is the Samsung 960 EVO. They actually have a 970 that just came out and is now a better price, but literally the day I ordered this, this was the best deal, and they're already all stupid fast, so. This is a 500 gigger. These went down in price. It's crazy how DRAM prices have gone up, but the NVMe is going down again. When the 960, was the 970, no, what were they called? They were the 950 Pros. When the 950 Pros just came out, I went and bought 2 terabytes of them. It was like, it was really expensive. I don't remember how much it was. I used that in my machine for a while, but it got to the point that used, they were going for almost double what I paid, and I was at the point I made money off of my drives. It is a crazy world that we live in where RAM prices go up, and you can make money off of old computer hardware. That's expensive. Now, I guess you're just SOL if you wanted to install this and you didn't have one of Lee & Lee's standoff tools. But I have one of Lee & Lee's standoff tools, so I get to use it and enjoy it. John Morrison, what's the scythe cooler that covers basically the Mini ITX but super low profile and has the upward venting fan? Is it the Kodati or something like that? That's the one that they were supposed to send me, and I'm really looking forward to testing that out. I think I can make it work with some mods. All right, we're nearly ready to post. Kozuti? That might be it. I normally don't plug Corsair, but I'm doing a lot more AMD builds, and I try to keep the same product stocked for both, and this works really well on Ryzen and Intel. Ryzen has been really picky for me for RAM, and very, very, very picky. Weird crashes, Windows doesn't install very well. Sometimes it won't post. You have to get BIOS updates all the time for it, but these just kind of work out of the box, so that's kind of what I stock. Of course, if you wanted to pay more, I also love the Trident Z RGB. If you wanted to pay more for flashy RGB memory, which, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? This guy, apparently. Is this form factor really worth it? It depends, man. I don't think it's worth it for a 1080 Ti build. That's ridiculous, Bobby. But for this build, absolutely. We're gonna have a tiny computer that doesn't have an external power brick. I mean, it is, I love this build. This is one of my favorite setups. It's gonna be great. Slow, because we're chilling out and hanging out and talking, but the Jitty? I haven't heard of that one. But I will write that one down. Okie dokie. Where are we at? GPU, which I'm not going to install until we get a post. I don't know if this HDMI cable actually works, but let's talk about the power supplies. This is the HD Plex AC/DC 160, and I just remember to tell you that it's actually going to be discontinued. So, yeah. But I have one of them, and we're going to use it. I only made 2 Clark S4 Minis. 2, and that was an adventure. Like, it's actual real deal Clark, which costs an insane amount of money because you have to buy it by the 100-gallon barrel drum, and you have to have some kinds of, I don't know if it's licenses, that's permit, that's the better word for it, and only certain facilities can spray it, and I wanted to get a sample. Well, you can't just get a sample of Clark. You can't just call up the people that make Clark and go, hey, can I have like 2 ounces of it? So I have friends that do painting for helicopters and stuff like that for the air base here. So we got them to get a sample because they usually order it, but they've gone through a dry time doing navy colors right now. But we got some and we got it painted. It was still very expensive, and I only made 2 of them ever. I take the S4 Mini Classic colors very seriously. Jordan Bueno. There is your shout out. But there is like this super chat like function, like if you want to shout out, like the first one's free. All right, this is the HD Plex 160. I actually ordered the Dynamo Mini 200, but they're identical. And I think that sometimes to make shipments go faster, Larry will just send an AC/DC from Compact Design or his brand. But I love this unit very, 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 very much. Nice and clean. The only thing I did to it for this one is it comes with a female connector that's actually, it's about this long. Chopped it, and I put a male connector. That way I don't have to use the adapter. They come with an adapter. It makes it much more versatile, but for this system, I just want it a little bit more neat, so I just did this while I was waiting. It wasn't a big deal. If you want some adventures in soldering, watch yesterday's episode. Oop. This will plug in right here, like so. We'll plug in the CPU power. We'll use the C14 connector for right now. And moment of truth. Pretty lights. For a power cable. Ooh, I want to show you my new RGB power button. It's not out yet. You guys can be the first to see it. This customer is going to get a silver one, but an RGB one. Make everything RGB. So, as you cannot hear, I have the microphone right here, but you probably can hear my stream machine, which uses a stock AMD fan, which is kind of noisy. You can't hear this. I mean, I have an air vent that just decided to come on right now, but it's so quiet. This fan, this cooler, so quiet. I love it so much. Okay, let's see if we actually get video from this cable. It's a really nice short cable, but I don't think it actually works. I might as well get a real cable. But look at my other cable. This is my problem. Ugh. It's like ridiculously heavy. No, the motherboard can't unfortunately control that button. I was working on an RGB switch, but then Freelick from the small form factor forums was making a really cool one, so I kind of just, it's a dumb switch. It just changes color. If you're into that thing. I'm gonna reset this now because HDMI can be. Abhishek, this is the HD Plex 160 AC/DC, which is available right now, but I believe it's being discontinued. Oh, interesting. Audio noise from... Okay, well, we can unplug that. We have a post. Everything is good to go. I'll unplug this. Hopefully the audio is going to get better now. I'll turn the power off here. Hopefully that sounds better now. Yes, Philip Cooper. Thin Mini ITX boards had a wide input DC that at least was 19 volts. So you could plug in a standard 19 volt power supply right into the back of it. They were very cool. I wish that Thin Mini was more explored, but alas, it was not. I actually made a Thin Mini computer case a long time ago, before the Mini. I'll go get that and I'll show you. You guys can be special and look at it. It doesn't have its interior or its front panel and side panel. Sorry, I'm being stupid. Goes in this way. There we go. So the idea behind this guy, this was a Thin Mini case. It supported a graphics card and all that, and a power supply in the front. Special cooler was used for it, and had a top, and it had the I/O for, like, if you're using capture cards, like SDI connectors and stuff sticking out, they'd be protected. Straps for if you wanted to have like a, a camera strap, like a standard camera neck strap, so you can carry it with you if you need to. And a supported hot swappable battery pack on the bottom. But Thin Mini just looked kind of risky, and I want to do other stuff, so this little guy is now retired on my shelf of computer cases that are now defunct. A little piece of NFC history. You can look at some of the high-res renders on my website, though, I believe. See how it works. All right, this is all working, which is really good. That means that we can, if I didn't just fry it, I heard a nasty pop right there. We can actually get this hooked up inside the computer case. Put the graphics card in. All that stuff. My 160 watt combo came with an extra cable between the AC, DC, and the DC ATX units. Yes, mine did too. As I explained earlier, I just modded mine to make it cleaner. So I changed this cable to a male. That's all I did, so I didn't have to have that extra cable group. But that's how they come. Unplug this. because I'm going to be using stock cable. And this guy is toast. He doesn't work anymore. So sad. Put this up. I'm going to use my post stickers to reward myself for doing nothing. Wish I could move the camera over here so you could see this giant wall of Noctua and Intel stickers. Very pretty. I do, Philip Cooper. I have custom wires for basically all my projects. I just use the stock cable for this for now. I'm going to cut that up and wire it shorter in a minute. So it's not a stupid question. Another sticker? Apparently I don't collect EVGA stickers, so it'll just go on my tool chest. What laptop brick should I use for 160 watt? I highly recommend that you use the Dell 330, but you can use the Dell 330 PM111. So that means you can go to Amazon and you can spend $50 to $60 and get that brick. The brick that I recommend for a 1060 and up build is the Dell LA 330 PM160. So they're both called the Dell 330s. They both look identical, but there's a sticker on the back because the insides are different. The Dell LA 330 PM160 is tough enough to power a 1080, whereas the Dell DA 330 PM111 won't even, it can power a 160. It can, but at 4K you can even get some resets. But for this power supply, that's what I would do. Can I build a S4 Mini S2O cooled? I don't know what S is. Like there's LN2, which would be pretty cool. That'd be frigid. And there's helium, and there's water, and then there's propylene glycol. So maybe that's the elemental number for it. Well, welcome, Philip Cooper. You are absolutely welcome. And please ask any questions or comments. And you can always encourage me to work harder because that's what you guys are here for today. We're chilling out. We're taking our time, not trying to rush to get this done. Just going to build a computer system. Phase change mini with a compressor built in. I have not built in the Cougar QBX. I'm glad Cougar is doing good though. Building up their brand from nothing. I think I first saw them, they announced at PAX a long time ago. You can use a Pico PSU 160 XT to run a 1070 Mini. You can actually do that. I have a video on this channel of me doing that. You will have to replace the power cords going to your 6-pin Molex, your 8-pin Molex, because the included ones are too thin. Hey Fabio, we are building a 1050 Ti Brickless S4 Mini. and we were just about to install the motherboard. Hello, JV from Brazil. Yes, I build minis and ship them all around the world, including Brazil, which I have shipped to. One day I hope to visit, though my Portuguese is, I don't know a single word in Portuguese. Bella? Something? Bella Mini. Okay, I'm gonna get my thing of screws. And my thread locker. Be right back. I use thread locker when putting motherboards in computer cases that I'm shipping because it's amazing what will rattle out. I mean, really, truly amazing. Hello, Search It from Mexico. Oh. And from Hungary, really? That's one place I have not shipped to. I usually try, but customs and VAT gets to be really high. And then a lot of customers decide that they can't swing it, and I don't blame them at all. Czech Republic and Romania. This is insane. I have shipped to Ireland. I ship to Ireland often, actually. Guys, guess though, who is my best customer? Which country is my best customer? I have shipped one mini to Portugal before. Guys, if you guess correctly, I will have a small prize that I will put up. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Australia, which is also a continent. I don't know if that was a trick question. The Australians are my #1 customers, which is fascinating. From Chad. I have not spoken with anyone from Chad before. It's too late, guys. It's too late. It's the Australians. It's the Aussies. And then US, and then Canada, and then Europe. It really feels even in Europe, to be honest. It's pretty spread out. Germany, I thought would be a big customer because Germans appreciate exquisite design and craftsmanship and manufacturing. But for some reason, I do not have a lot of German customers. I think I'm just not marketing well. I don't know about my chassis. France actually buys a lot of these computer cases, but Germans do not. I've only shipped one to Russia, and both Russia and China, oh my goodness, very, very expensive to get a mini there. Like those are two most, well, Russia's so big that I can't just, you know, broadly say Russia, but the place I did ship to Russia was insanely expensive. Hello from the International Space Station. UK, you win. Just put leader. This particular computer costs $2,130 US dollars. I have to wash my hands because I have thread locker all over it and it's just nasty stuff. So I'll be back. All right, sorry about that, guys. Equals 16 gigabytes of RAM, I know, right? The biggest part of this budget actually is the RAM. Yeah, it's the most expensive thing on this list. 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance DDR3000, $317, and I got a good deal. No. I quoted him at $317, and the time it took him to pay this, which was only like an hour, it went up to $321.27. So I lost money on the RAM. RAM prices are crazy right now. All right, what was I doing? I've already lost track. All right, so we got to put these components in. Well, we cannot put this power supply in first because we wouldn't be able to get the graphics card in. So we have to put the graphics card in first and then put the power supply in. Obviously. Stick that there. I have to find what I did with the riser ribbon. I'm going to plug my headphones in, make sure everything still sounds good. Still sounding okay? Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's not going to tell me. It's my stupid Asus. Alright, cool. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that, man. I really, really, really do. I'm looking forward to giving away a 580 to Super Chat people. We just got to hit a certain threshold to where we can afford to do that. I think it's kind of fun, you know, if everyone wants to play that little raffle, basically, get hardware. Well, as I said earlier in the stream, Fabio, I like the Noctua because I think of it like the interior of a sports car. It's that beautiful leather interior. On the outside, it can be whatever color you want, but when you open up your Ferrari, what are you going to see? That. Sign of quality. Can you hear my neighbor banging on his dock? He's fixing his dock over there. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Okay, I actually have to do some work now. This is the NFC Systems Siliflex riser. I was tired of risers that were subpar or too big or too long. So I went and had my own manufactured by HD Plex. Unfortunately, I don't have any extras on my website to sell, but when I order some more, I will make sure to order some extra for my website because people use them in their custom builds too for some reason, even though they're really tiny. There's no edges or locks that's going to take up a lot of room. Thank you, John. Yesterday you had like 86 cents in your bank account, so I hope that I didn't like starve you out. That would make me feel really bad. Yes, smallformfactornet.com. I'll put a link right here. Small Form Factor Network. Because I can link. Michael, I'm sorry. I'm taken. Following the instructions printed on my key, making sure to plug it in the correct orientation because it goes in like this. It does not go in like this. See how the arrows are pointing up? That's bad. We want the arrows pointing down. And it's not going to go in that way since it's keyed. Hey Josh, remember what I made for you? Has anyone seen it besides me? I don't remember, my friend. I'm really sorry. My memory is like a goldfish memory. Wow, Philip just gave his SEK. That's like $25? I really appreciate that, dude. That is awesome. €10. I'm gonna collect all the currency. It's like Pokemon. Knowing you, John, you probably have the information in your head. Following the instructions on the riser, which is printed for my convenience, so I don't get it upside down. This side plugs into the motherboard PCIe slot. Bingo, this side plugs into the graphics card. Now we can screw the graphics card in with the screws that I have included with the Mini. Hey, dude, $11, still good. Tyler, what did you make me? Is that? Yeah, send me an email, Tyler, because on my next video that's not a live stream video, I'm going to announce and talk about the logo that I have now and all the people that helped contribute. I really appreciate that for sure, and I definitely want to give you a shout out, and I want to include the logo that you worked on. Yes, it is. I'm actually streaming from that particular APU right this second, Brett. Yeah, I love that system. Love it. And I was actually going to make a computer case for it and use the HDPlex AC/DC 160, but plans changed a little bit. I'm going to use a Mini and I'm going to liquid cool it instead because the printer went down. I have to get new parts for it, so I am not going to be making a case for it. But I'm going to make an awesome mini build using it. I don't put any thread locker on the GPU screws. Those don't tend to wiggle out for whatever reason. I don't know why. All right, now we're going to install the power supply. Yeah, I'll install the power supply and then the C8 connector. So the Mini already has threaded screw holes on the side braces. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to put this guy in here like this. And then carefully screw it in. It's a little bit awkward, I admit, but such is the cost of extremely small form factor. Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate the shout out and the money. If I had more time, Tom, I would really like to make a case for that APU, but my Mini case is going to be awesome. Like I said, I want to liquid cool it, and I think it'll be a good case scenario. It'll make sense. But if I do make a computer chassis, it's just going to be like a one-off. I might make a couple of them, but I don't have plans for production for an APU right this second. But that could change. That could change if it gets to be better and more customers are ordering APU builds from me. But making computer cases is a great way to lose all of your money, so you have to be really careful about what projects you undertake. You can actually view the full parts list here at nfc-systems.com. /BOMs. Bombs. But I have parts lists for basically all my major builds I recommend. This customer didn't change much. We went with higher capacity memory and Corsair Vengeance instead of the G-Skill Trident Z. And that's it. That's the only changes from the 1050 Ti mini build. So it is up and away. Devontae, right now, this is the most powerful card you can put with this setup. Right now. But that is going to be changing with some power supplies in development and also some of the graphics cards down the pipe. So I was planning for the future when I did this. So that is my answer for you for now. Gonna figure out what to do with this for now. Put that right here. All right, this is my wired C8 connector. Basically, I took the, I don't know what this jack is called off the top of my head, but it comes with the HDPlex C14 connectors, and I trimmed off the little pluggy tabs so you can stick it through this cutout I have in the back. It's a very tight fit. It's a press fit, basically, because I don't want it ever coming out. So you have to line it up, get it straight, and really push her in. And if you don't have it straight, it's just not going to go in really easy. Hey, Craig, that's not information we give the masses. You're a dangerous man. I have two internal radiator mini builds. One of them is massive. Every single component is completely custom. It's insane. It's taken literally half a year now, or maybe actually longer than half a year. And like every single part, it just requires so much time and engineering. It's coming, I can say that. I wanted to actually start test printing some of my more complicated parts. The reservoir and fluid system is actually built into the chassis to save on fittings and space. It's very complicated. And I have another liquid-cooled mini build, like I said, I'm going to do for the APU, which is much less complicated. There's something smaller, the desk mini. Have you guys seen the desk mini? I gotta open Craig's box up anyway. I'll go do that right now. You guys want to see the smallest computer platform that I know of that's actually good? I don't really follow a lot of the tech YouTubers. I try to. It's not that I don't like them. I love watching them. I just don't really have the time. So you might have already seen this on Linus or something, but now this is a cool computer. I actually don't want to even put it next to the Mini, because I'd like to sell the Mini. Where did I put the end of this? I want to reuse it so I don't hurt the poor little environment. Thank you, Steven, man. I really appreciate that. Oh, that smells weird and good. It smells like you can lose some brain cells sniffing it. This is Micro STX. It's developed by ASRock, and this is a cool platform. Their computer case, as you can see, is actually kind of chunky and big for what it is, but you can kind of almost stick an AH-L9i in there. But this is a B250M. I think they make a did they make a Z370 board now for this? I think they make a Z370 version. Oh, I think I had that right here. Sorry, I could just shown you these ones that are already out. Compact sent me them because I'm making a chassis for these. But this is an incredible form factor, and I do not want to see it die. This is the Z270. This is the Z370M. But you can basically put these MXM cards, you know, like those laptop GPUs, and they make up to a 1080 right now, which is really amazing. This is a 1060 in this particular one right here. But there's so many things to love about this board. The I/O is fairly decent, as you can see. And check out this. This is my favorite part. Look at that. That is just nuts. It's 3 Ultra M.2 slots. And M.2 for like Wi-Fi and stuff like that. So what an awesome platform. I'm really looking forward to clearing off my plate a little bit more because I'm really excited about the case I have for this. The power is a drawback, but it's really not too big of a deal, especially because HDPlex has their new HDPlex 400, which is going to be included in my computer case design. I don't see a reason for using a power brick for these. I think it's part of it. Plus, it takes on the golden ratio once you lift it up a little tiny bit like that, so. Yeah, we all knew this was kind of like a limited time thing only, but boy, was this a beautiful gift to us from ASRock. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful system. And let's be honest, if you really care about having something unique, this is very powerful. You can stick a 1080 in here, you're gonna have a good computer for a long time. And an 8700K. I'll pack this up later. Guys are making me make a mess, or I'm using you as an excuse to make a mess. I can't blame you, I'm sorry. All right, we got our power supply in here hooked up to this. I want to make a shorter CPU 4+4 pin, so let's do that right now. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Or these are double pinned. It sucks. Move this down. That looks about right. Yeah, there's a 580 MXM card. Believe it or not. Looks like I got 4 left, so gotta make them count. I believe my wife has my good wire stripper, so I'll be right back. And I'm back. I only do one side at a time. Thank you, K-Ron. That's awesome, man. I really appreciate it. Nice to see you. Hope to see you back. No, it would not be possible to fit that in there. Sorry, Tom. Anyway, I only do one side at a time. That way I don't mix them up. It makes it a lot easier. Using my handy dandy automatic wire strippers. Gotta do a little bit long so the double crimp. 1. One, 2. I don't know how, Frederick. That's a great idea, but I don't know how to do that. I'm really ignorant when it comes to technology. I shouldn't have said that on live stream, but... One double crimp. I'd really appreciate that, Frederick. That'd be awesome. In fact, if you just want to upload them, or do you think it'll be more better if I do it? More cred. But you can get with me by sending me an email, and that'd be amazing. Sorry, my glasses keep falling down. Thanks, Tyler. I have to do a lot of different things for my full-time job. I mean, like a lot of different things, which I really like. It beats doing the IT work I did before. I do 3D design, which I really don't like, because usually you get a manager that he has a different vision than what your statement of work says, which is what the company's hiring you to do. So it's very, very difficult to design something. I'm actually stopping my contract with everybody, and I'm only going to be working with Sapphire and Patriot from now on because of this. I do just odd jobs too. I'm kind of a mechanic, a shitty tree mechanic. I build these computer systems, which is great. I really appreciate when people order them from me. The Mini is an art project, a passion project. It's not a money-making project, but it has been a money-making project because people have been really awesome and they've been buying my accessories. So when you buy like my on-off switch, I make money from that. If you buy my custom bezels, I make money from that. So anything on my website, I pretty much make money off of. So people are buying that. So it contributes to my income. Now, I can depin these two and stick these in and not have to worry about it getting all mixed up, so I did them one at a time. As far as depinning stuff, you heard it from me first. Not really. Buy the official Molex tool. Don't buy anything off-brand because it's way cheaper. None of those work. The only exception is I think I have a frozen CPU one, but I use it for a very specific application. But you have to buy the official Molex depinner tool or you will have a very bad time. The one from $1 Million PC, MDPC, or if you buy it at Mod 1, which is the USA distributor, it's the same thing. It is a Molex official unit that's been branded MDPC. That's probably better because it looks cool because Nils writes, you know, MDPCX and Sharpie, but you can't buy an off-brand one of these things. Just, you'll have a bad time. It pays to spend the $25 for this little piece of metal. See? Look how easy that was. Didn't cut myself, came right out. And it's because the inside of these little tongs, I don't know what you'd call them, they're tapered. Whereas the cheap ones are not tapered, and they use really high quality spring steel so they don't bend. Well, they do bend, but they bend back in place. See how super, super, super easy. Oh, this is one of the reasons too, not to knock Corsair, but I don't particularly like a lot of Corsair power supplies. They make great power supplies, but their cables are so hard to depin. I have heard they've gotten better, but I still use Silverstone when I can because they just depin so beautifully. I'm just going to go off on random tangents like that because I can, because you guys can just mute me. Yeah, Fabio, if this could make money doing streaming, I would love to do that. Especially because it's easier to do this than producing those videos, which make no money at all. I think I made like, I'm not allowed to say, I think I made like 71 cents for the past couple months off those other 2 videos I made. And I put a lot of work into them. Tyler, I believe that you had the awesome smoke acrylic bezel, which I'm going to put up eventually, but I just haven't had time to even update my website. All right, number 2, got to cut these. Thank you, Emmanuel. Awesome, I appreciate that. So you're a S4 Mini customer with a streaming box? Good stuff. That's exactly what I have right now. I have a 2400G on my test bench. That's what I'm streaming with. I'm using a Magewell capture card. Hey, baby. Thank you. It's peppermint tea because my throat's getting hoarse talking. It's hot peppermint tea. I gotta get my coaster. I would love that, Latarded. That would be amazing. That's actually one of the things I'm thinking about. I'm trying to simplify all the jobs and stuff I'm doing right now. And I want to use YouTube somehow. Live streaming in pairs would be kind of sort of working, but use live stream or use the other videos to make cool stuff and then sell that cool stuff afterwards. I had some success with selling the last custom case that I made. Only one of them, and it didn't cover the cost of making it, but it says that, okay, I can make 10 of these cases at a time, and then I can sign them all while I'm making a video of me making them, and the customers can tune in. I think it'd be a really cool personal project. I don't really know anyone else that's doing anything like that. So I think that'd be fun. I don't know if your paladin.com is still up, but... It's one of the projects that I worked with. I can't afford to hire staff. No way. I would love to. That's my goal, though, to have a business here in Mississippi to employ like my friends and neighbors. But I take things one day at a time. It's 80 degrees in my office right now. Whew. Which is normally not bad, but when you're working and talking under the lights, it kind of feels pretty hot. Because it's 80 degrees over on that side of the office. Do I make S3 bent sheet stand for the S4 variant? Oh, like the S3 Elite? I don't do those on custom order. However, I have been getting so many requests to make a custom stand for the S4M, which I think would be just for looks, for show, but why not? People want it. I think I can make that. Could probably make it out of exotic hardwood like the bezels. I've tried several times to come up with something, but I can't come up with anything that I like the look of, you know? So I keep putting it off. I only make stuff that I think is beautiful. It doesn't turn out beautiful all the time, but in my head, I only pursue the projects that I think are cool, if that makes sense. It's very hard to get me to make a custom thing that you think might look cool, but I don't. And it's not because I don't respect your artistic vision. It's just that it's hard for me to get passionate about it, and I want to be passionate about people's projects. Which is really why I keep selling the Mini. I just love the fact that I spend at least 3 hours a day answering emails, like tech-regarded questions for the Mini. It takes a lot of time. But I sit down and have my coffee, and I meet people from all around the world who are planning their build, their dream build out, you know, talking about how they're going to use it. I mean, I've had some crazy ones before. You know, there's guys on submarines that want a nice gaming computer. There's researchers in Alaska. There was a mathematician, really famous guy that did the math for A Beautiful Mind that he was building a Mini for, doing his own projects. There's architects having these in lobbies of really fancy buildings. So just the fact that a little piece of what I work on gets to go all over the world and people really like it, I love it. It's just amazing. And if I get to be an inspiration for someone to go out and mod, Ryan, that just is icing on the cake. I'm moving real slow today, aren't I? Tyler, I actually can't do that. You think that I could, but I can't. And the reason is I have the specs and I have the CAD and I could send you the CAD. It won't do you any good because the factory makes micro adjustments for its machines. So if you were to use the CAD to go get a vinyl wrap, it would not work. So I'm supposed to have an artist working on that right now. I don't know if they've made much progress on it. But once that's done, I will release that open source because I think it's just fantastic to be able to go get your Mini wrapped however you want. Building and reading chat, yeah, it does slow things down. And plus, it is kind of nerve-wracking, I guess, building a computer on live streaming. I don't know why, I'm a little bit shy, what can I say? I have a slightly more tense personality, I'll just put it that way, in front of the camera. I'm not good at this stuff, I really am not, but I like doing it, so I want to get better at it. Dipping works. I looked into dipping because I wanted to do dipping services myself. The problem is there's not really a lot of custom designs. you basically have to buy the film material from one company who makes basically all the world's dip films. So there's the carbon fiber one, which everyone uses, and there's the stupid skull one, and the Realtree camo one, and some other ones which are hideous. And I wanted a way to actually get high quality, you know, Adobe RGB prints like the Buddha brothers do for the other skins. And that's really what I want to get back on track making. I think Craig Babiak from Compact Design is sending me something to make a build like that. Tom. Give this a little trim. I don't even know why I'm doing it over the trash can. I'm just going everywhere. Now, in theory, we have a cable that is just the right length. Do you guys see like pop-up ads or anything? Just kind of curious how YouTube's handling this. They asked me if I wanted to put a video ad on it. I was like, no. I do have to run some ads, otherwise YouTube won't even bother to tell you guys about it, but those video ads are just a little obnoxious. Well, yeah, I pay for premium too. Like, who wouldn't? Oh my goodness. Actually, I don't pay for premium. That's a lie. Corey pays for premium for me. It was my birthday present for this year. All right, that looks nice. That looks very nice. And that's the beauty of this build. We are pretty much done with it. I gotta put the switch on. I will put the cross bezel on. I'll take this out. Cross bezel. The Sky Bracket Duo. Sorry, talking for a long time fries my brain. Unless there's air conditioning. But the air conditioning is way too noisy. Countersunk. Now. Thank you, Sander. The Dynatron T318 for X99 ITX. They do have really big, beefy coolers. I think that was the one that I put in my i9 build, to be honest, which I replaced the fan on. Thank you, Sander. I appreciate that, man. So normally this would go right here. That's how I'm going to keep it. But there's actually two mounting spots for this, depending on if you're going to have an HEPlex 400 or you're going to have the AC/DC power supply. So you can actually fit this in here. And that's also the beauty of having this 1050 Ti build, is that you can actually put two 2.5-inch drives and the heat is not going to be a problem at all. Because the 92mm fan is extremely high static air pressure, so it penetrates these fins, which are rather dense, much, much better than if you had a big 120 over it. Especially because the 120's hub would be so big, it wouldn't penetrate the fins. So that is the reason that this fan right here performs so very, very, very well. And it's really quiet. I'm hoping that the video quality and audio quality is better. Well, the audio is better from yesterday. I'm not sure about the video quality yet. MCL 40,000. Yeah, this build is 2130. It'd be a lot cheaper if you got less RAM. This is 32 gigabytes of RAM, which cost $321.27 from Amazon. Yes, this does include my labor. My labor for this build is on the BOM sheet, but people are putting together, well, you can go look at the BOM sheets right now at nscsystems.com, nsc-systems.com/BOMs, and it will be on the PC Parts Picker soon, thanks to the help of some streamer people that are watching. I'll type it in again. Just cool down. Yeah, I do see it's kind of choppy on my end too. I don't know what the dealio is. I need to figure all that stuff out. I don't think it's a bandwidth issue. But it is a streaming issue because it looks fine on the output from OBS. This might be crazy, but if you use 2 wood planks and put an LED waterproof and cover it with resin while gluing the 2 wood planks down to have a front with wood, like the zebra wood. I'm not following. I need to get closer to the screen so my brain can think better. Have I done any? Okay, so when I put these in here, these little fan holes, I did that because I could. That's really the reason that I put these in here. I didn't have a particular plan. I told myself that for a Pico mini box brand, Pico power supplies, which are 12 volt, you can use those to run like a 1080. I mean, they are beefy, the actual Pico brand ones, but they can get obviously very hot. They're only rated for 160 watts, right? But if you put a fan on it, it's safe. It's totally safe if you replace the cables on it. So that could be one reason to use it. Brian's liquid-cooled Project Mercury build, I think his fans actually vent side up to the top, not from the front, but there is a radiator that you can buy that will fit the front of this. Why you would use it, I mean, it'd be worse than using any cooler, air cooler, I don't know, but... Yeah, those are just LED lights that are around the back just to give it a little bit more pop. I got a remote control for it. Sorry, I'm slowing down, guys. I'm getting tired, but we're almost done with this build, so tomorrow I can work on my vehicles. One of my motorcycles decided it was going to bleed to death last night, and there was just gas everywhere on my garage floor. It was very dangerous, very dangerous situation. But I didn't put the petcock to off. I just had it on reserve, and apparently that my carburetor decided it was going to leak. Everything. 3 gallons of gas. It's only 5:30, but I didn't sleep last night. I had a project to work on, and I got up fairly early, so I'm dragging. But Monday, I'm going to work. I'm going to do another live stream on Monday, I think. I was not going to do a live stream. I was going to do a standard record with a video, but I'm going to do a little bit of live stream putting together a special computer, a very special computer. You can watch videos about this special computer. It's actually the very first video series I did for this channel, titled Not From Concentrate. It's a 4-part series that was filmed by my friend TJ Rossmeisel, of me putting together a custom computer case. And it doesn't really have a lot of views. I don't think a lot of people have seen it. It has like 1,500 views. Really, really not a lot of people have seen it. I can upload the stream if you want to finish it. I mean, I'm pretty much finished now. I'm just bolting it all together. Storage for this Mini is a 500 gigabyte Samsung NVMe M.2 drive. How big is the opening for the circular opening in the back? The DC power jack opening, that's 12 millimeters. Yeah, you're thinking of the right one, Sander. That is the one I'm building a live stream on. I used it for one show, and it went to Sapphire, and it basically just sat in a corner in an office for years. But I'm reviving it for QuakeCon. I got it back. My friend Edward Chrysler sent it back to me. So we're going to put some new hardware in it, dust it off, put some new sleeve cables in it, and it'll be at QuakeCon this year. Tom, the entire build sheet for this computer you can find on my website at nmc-systems.com/bombs. I'm using an Intel 8700 for this particular customer. Make sure that's good. I'm gonna tie that guy down, so I don't want that flopping around in shipping. Weird things happen in shipping, I'm telling you guys. Very strange things that you would just not expect. Good, 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 good. That's good, that's good. We are done. Oh, we use silver screws though. So we got to put silver screws back in. Oh yeah, I'll show you the box that I shipped these things in. It's not as beefy as the S4MINI Classic box, but it's still pretty beefy. I actually use the S4MINI Classic box when I'm shipping power supplies, like external bricks. But for this brickless build, I don't need to do that. Lian Li is awesome. Lian Li does not work with nobodies like me, but I have a contact who is great friends with the owner, so I got really lucky in this relationship. But they are amazing. I don't think anybody can do surface finishing like Lian Li can. I mean, I really believe that. I truly do. I charge PayPal for the most part. PayPal works for just about everybody. So here we are. Oh, we gotta finish. Doing it right. We have here an S4 Mini, a Skyreach 4 Mini chassis. Inside is an Intel i7 8700 CPU, a GeForce 1050 Ti 4GB version, 32 gigabytes of Corsair 3200 megahertz memory. I don't remember the timings on it. A 500 gigabyte Samsung 960 Evo M.2 VNAND drive. And it is all brickless. There's not an external power supply. This is the computer system. It is nice and it's tiny. I don't have my backpack here, but very slim. It's very sturdy. There's no flex in this chassis. It's designed to travel. It's engineered to travel. It is, it feels like a brick. The panels, the bins, the thickness of the aluminum is incredibly stiff. So there she is. And it's very, 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 very quiet. If I plug this in, you might hear electrical noise. I'm not sure, but I don't know if you can hear it at all. That's startup. The fans ramped up a little bit, but I love this build. It's so quiet, so compact. This is one of my favorites for sure. And now I will install Windows and tune it. I spend 3 days doing this process. I install Windows, I install all the drivers, all the software, that kind of stuff. Then I go back in, I start tuning with the motherboard. Then that takes a long time, right? Because you have to adjust the settings as it goes along. And then on the last day and a half, I use it as my computer. And the reason I do that is because you can build a computer pretty much perfect according to all the benchmark utilities and everything, but until you actually start using it, that's when you discover that there's weird quirks. And so after I get done using it as my computer, then I clean everything out, make sure that there's no trace, so when the customer gets it, it's like a brand new system. But that is it for today. I really appreciate you guys joining in, and amazing Super Chat patrons. Thank you for your donations. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys. And I will see you on Monday for the Remio build, which is dusty. This thing weighs a ton. This wood is so heavy. But we will be filling out this old baby and getting her cleaned because she is dusty. Alright, blessings and peace to you guys. I will talk to you on Monday.